would say it's not easy. That the politics of this country is dependent on several things which many other nations might feel is not relevant. And I'll go back to some of my previous books for this. What has happened is that India has felt that the way to progress is through political and social exclusion. So what does political exclusion mean? Well, so for the first time in India's history, we don't have a Muslim in the Union Cabinet. It has never happened before, since 1947. This is a population of 20 crore people, no representative in the Union Cabinet. There is no minister. Of the BJP's 303 Lok Sabha MPs, zero Muslim. In the last Lok Sabha, 282 MPs, also a full majority, zero Muslim. What is this exclusion meant to do? What is the theory? We don't know. It is just exclusion. We don't want you. There is nothing else. In 15 states of India, there is no Muslim minister at all. In 10 states, there is one Muslim minister who is normally given a minority of it as a portfolio, which is the scrap that is normally given. The BJP has more than 1100 MLAs across India, none of whom is a Muslim. So what we are doing is we are going back to partition almost and trying to fight again those same battles about representation. That if you look at the history of why the subcontinent was divided in 1947, the root cause, if one were to look at it from the Muslim point of view, is that they felt they would not get representation in an undivided India. The Congress refused to give them a separate electorate. If you look at 2022, it is difficult to argue against what they had said then. We, unfortunately, are replicating now what Pakistan did in the 50s, 60s and 70s. So if you look at the history of Pakistan, they felt that the country would progress by what we would call Hindutva, that it would make the country stronger, better, more powerful. They felt that their religion would do the same thing for them, that if they were if they brought in Islam in some form into the processes of government and of democracy, the country would improve. So, Aakar Patel, who gave the Constituent Assembly debate speech on their objectives resolution, said that, and this was only a short time after the bombs had been dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So he felt that science has progressed ahead of man's morality. Man is not as good, not as able to control science because his personal self is weak. And what Pakistan would do is that it would strengthen the moral self, the moral nation, the moral individual, the moral citizen, to the extent that both modern science and the individual would come together. He assured the minorities that by having religion in the constitution, Pakistan would not go after them or damage them. It was that religion in the constitution was aimed purely at the majority. And the way that he explained it, there was some opposition to it from the Bengali Hindus. So because Pakistan was not divided in that period in 1948-49, there was lots of Hindus in the Pakistani assembly who said that this is not what Jinnah had promised us, that Jinnah had told us that we would be a secular state. Things went along. For 10 years, Pakistan tried and failed to be able to put together a constitution. So we had our constitution in 1950, as you know. Pakistan took 10 years, but was not able to arrive at any kind of agreement on what its constitution should be. And then the army took over in 1958. After that, still not able to find out how it is that they could change the constitution, they could change the laws, change the way that the state behaved, they started to go against the minorities. So in 1958, the Constitution can be the President of Pakistan. And then in the 70s, there's another law which says that only Muslims can be the Prime Minister. If you go to Lahore, if you go to Dhaka, if you go to Peshawar, if you go to Karachi, and you say 302, 144, 420, they know what these numbers mean. And the reason is that the entire subcontinent is still governed by the same set of criminal laws that were left to us in the 1860s. What is called the Indian Penal Code. The laws are the same. You might call yourself secular democracy, they might call themselves Islamist Republic. Basically the law is the same. Once you go into the police station, you have the same set of laws that the citizen faces. Pakistan felt that the only way to become more Islamist was to go after these laws, that you would try and change some of them, and then you would make sure that religion came into the system through that route, and then the state would become more pious and it would become better. So they tried things like enforcing the fast in Ramzan. They tried things like the government would debit money from the fixed deposits during Ramzan for zakat. They changed the penal code so that the punishment for theft, for robbing and for theft, would be to cut off the hand at the wrist, and if the person committed a second theft, then they would cut off the opposite side foot. So you cut off the right hand and then the left foot, and then left hand and then the right foot, if you committed robbery or theft 4 times. And they trained a number of surgeons to carry out these amputations. So these really terrified doctors were trained on how to most humanely cut off a limb with the least amount of pain and so on. Not a single person in Pakistan has ever lost their hand or leg because of this law. The reason is that Pakistan's judiciary, like our judiciary, like Bangladesh's judiciary, is trained in common law, which is the same British law that we've been operating under for a century and a half. They did not want to go into this hand cutting and foot cutting business. Pakistan felt that if you changed some of the laws that came directly from the book on fornication, which is to have sex without being married, the punishment is that you should be stoned to death. That you bring the person in the public domain and you stone them to death. So they brought this law on the books. Nobody in the history of Pakistan has ever been stoned to death. No judge wants to give that sentence. They are the same judges that you have in Bangladesh and in India, trained in the same common code. On Ramzan and fasting, the government faced a pushback from the Muslim owners of restaurants and of movie theatres, which were also asked to close that month. And the minorities complained because people were beating up and assaulting minorities for eating in public during Ramzan. And on the subcontinent, you cannot visually tell who is Muslim, who is non-Muslim. We all do the same. And so it was difficult for the state to be able to enforce this. So these laws became watered down in time. In Musharraf's period, which is about 20 years ago, 2 things happened. One is that the Supreme Court of Pakistan said that interest, the bank interest, is actually haram and should be removed from the economy, which would cause it to actually collapse. The banking system didn't know what to do. The government said we will not be able to enforce this. The Supreme Court insisted that it be enforced. So what has happened is, in Pakistan you don't get interest on your fixed deposit. You get a profit. So the number is the same. They call it something else. It's just a change of term rather than a change in the economy. If you go to Pakistan, you can legally buy alcohol in Karachi. You cannot buy it in Surat. So the differences are very minor. We think that we are some sort of state which is very separate, very unique from the rest of South Asia. We are not. What we have done to ourselves since 2014 is similar to what Pakistan did to itself in the 50s and 60s. So I spoke about political exclusion. By law, no non-Muslim can become the Prime Minister of Pakistan. But I don't know how many people believe that even lawfully, when we will have a Muslim Prime Minister, there is no chance that I see, not in my lifetime. It doesn't matter whether the exclusion is through practice or through law. The exclusion is real. There is no chance. Because behind the facade, behind the curtain of secularism, we are practicing pretty much the same as what they are practicing. Only we are calling it something else. Interfaith marriages between Hindus and Muslims have been banned in 7 BJP states after 2018. So Hindus and Muslims cannot marry. We are a very culturally conservative part of the world. If a woman marries into a family, it is expected that she will take on the culture of that family, and by culture we mean faith. That she will start to fast with the people, that she will start to. You cannot do that anymore in 7 states, including in Karnataka, which is my state. You have to apply 30 days in advance. The state will send a district magistrate or a collector, determine whether or not the conversion is valid. If it determines, the woman has no say in this. An adult woman's testimony that she is converting of free volition is not sufficient testimony. It is the man she is marrying and the family she is marrying into that has to prove to the district magistrate or to the collector that she is not being coerced. The state has the power in many parts of India to undo the marriage, including marriages that have children, because it believes that the conversion was not valid. Now, just to take you back to the history of Article 25, which is where this comes from. When the Constituent Assembly was debating the Constitution, the Christians made a specific representation saying that for us, spreading the message of Jesus is an article of faith, that it is part of our religion. It is part of their religion to tell somebody that Jesus saves, that Jesus had come to save us, and believing in Him will send you to Him. And so they asked specifically for the right to propagate. And Article 25 says that all Indians have the right to freely practice and propagate their faith. What we have done is pretty much the same as what Pakistan has done, which is, so in Pakistan, conversions are banned. You can't actually convert. In India, you can't actually do that by law. We have criminalized a propagation, and Christians are told that to say that there is an afterlife and there is a world beyond this is a criminal act. And this is a 1970s judgment. It's called Stanislaus versus State of Madhya Pradesh, which is still the law in this country. In effect, what it means is we have a fundamental right, which is both a fundamental right. What is a fundamental right? A right that enjoys very high degree of freedom from encroachment by the state. The state cannot randomly come, just like we are gathered here. This is Article 19, the right to peaceful assembly. The state has no right to come and intervene here and say you can't hold this. It's a fundamental right. Propagation is a fundamental right. It is also a criminal offense. So we have, on paper, we are a progressive modern nation with laws that reflect modernity and progress. But the footnotes remove that from the law and make it quite hollow. We have passed not only on religion and marriage, but also on citizenship, which is at the heart of all rights. That this government has said that we will remove Muslims from the protection of CAA, which says that anybody who came from these 3 states, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, before the 31st of December 2014, can seek asylum in India except if they are Muslim. Muslims need not apply. And we have the NRC. I don't know how many of you have followed what has gone on in Assam, where there are 1,000 people in jail for not being able to prove to the satisfaction of a 2-year contractor. So the government of Assam hires people on 2-year contracts who you have to face. This is called the foreigners tribunal. You go to them, you show your papers. If they say that you can't prove that your forefathers were here before 71, you go to jail. The names of your father and grandfather, if there is one letter different, they do not accept it. This is currently happening in the state of Assam. Because you have people in jail. The men are jailed separately from the women. Children who are more than 6 years old are sent out of jail and sent into the community. The Supreme Court of India said that, okay, you can jail them for 3 years but no more. So right now what we are doing is rotating people in jail, keeping them for 3 years for no crime, except that they cannot prove. They are asked questions like, what was your grandfather's voting booth? Name it. Where did he vote? If you can't answer it, you go in. And this has been well documented. I'm not saying anything new. Every day there are reports from either from Guwahati High Court or from Supreme Court for those people who can afford to go to those courts to say that the action taken against them was wrong. But why is the action happening in the first place? Because of this obsession that we have, that we are being overrun by foreigners. And in many ways, this is similar to the style in Pakistan. In 2017, the Supreme Court said that triple talaq in one sitting is invalid. If a Muslim man tells his wife, talaq, talaq, talaq in one sitting, it is not considered to be divorce. They remain married. If talaq is offered between 3 menstrual cycles over 3 months, then it is valid, and it's still valid even now. After that, in 2019, Parliament criminalized the uttering of those words. What that means is, if a non-Muslim is accused of saying those 3 words to his wife, talaq, 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 if I say it to my wife, we are not divorced, it is not a crime. If a Muslim man is accused of saying these 3 words to his wife, they are not divorced, but it is a crime. We have criminalized what the state says is not an act. There is nothing has happened. There is no divorce. But it is still a crime. There is no reason to have criminalized it except to persecute the community. The larger point, and I'll come to a few more examples, my larger point is that if your energy is spent on this sort of thing, you are not going to become Japan. If your television debates every day around what somebody said somewhere and what one community did not say or do, you are not going to become South Korea. As a journalist, a very long list of all my previous jobs was read out. I had never come across the category of violence called beef lynching. Either in Bombay or in Hyderabad where I was working, in Andhra Pradesh, or in Delhi or in Chennai, where I was working. This category of violence began in 2015. Why? It began because we criminalized two BJP states, first Maharashtra, then Haryana, and then all the others, Gujarat, and all the others. They criminalized the possession of beef. Okay. There is something special about these laws. One, reversal of burden of proof. What does reversal of burden of proof mean? In common law, the law that we all understand and we may have learned at school, we are told that you are innocent until proven guilty. Who will prove you guilty? State. The government has to prove you guilty. If I am found next to Mr. Aakar body with a gun in my hand and he is lying there with blood on his chest, I don't have to prove that I shot him. The police has to prove that I committed the murder. If I am accused of having beef in my fridge or in my van, the police does not have to prove it. I have to prove that that meat is not beef. What that has resulted in is that in Gujarat in 2019, a man was convicted because he was accused of serving beef at his daughter's wedding. That meat that you gave that day, last Friday, last Thursday, last month, whenever it was, that meat was beef. Police could not prove that this was the case. The judge sentenced him to 10 years, saying that we cannot prove, you prove. How will the man prove that the meat that was consumed all those days before was meat? He could not prove, go to jail. In 2020, the High Court suspended the sentence, but did not give any legal reasoning. They were just embarrassed that such a thing had happened, and they suspended the sentence. I know the state has actually appealed it. I don't know where it will go. But this is the law in India today. The same thing applies. The reversal of burden of proof, mind you, is also applicable to interfaith marriage, what is called the love jihad law, where the person who converts, the woman, she has no say in whether or not the government will accept the fact. Including if she is an adult, 21-year-old woman saying, I converted of my own will. Government says no. Man has to prove that he did not coerce. And the word coerce has the widest possible meaning. Reversal of burden of proof also, I should say, on citizenship in Assam, in the NRC. Everybody was told to prove that they had ancestors there before 17. Hindus, everybody. And then of that, 19 lakh people were told you are not on that list. So this reversal of burden of proof, where the state doesn't have to do anything other than accuse you, and then you are left to run around trying to figure out how to prove your innocence. This has become a norm today in India. You will be Umar Khalid in jail. Bail is impossible. Money laundering. I got bail this year 3 weeks before there was a Supreme Court judgment which reversed burden of proof for bail. If I had not got bail before that judgment, I would not be here today. Government does not have to prove anything. You show that you did not do it. How will you show? In PMLA, in the Money Laundering Act, the government does not even have to show the case that they have against you. There is no obligation for them to show the case. Similarly for UAPL. There is a law in Gujarat, which is an old law, not new, it was tightened in 2020. What it says is, Hindus and Muslims cannot buy or rent property from one another. It's called Ashantha laws, known as the Reserve Area Law. Every city in Gujarat has this law. It is extended to more cities each year. In effect, foreigners can rent and buy property in Gujarat where Gujarati Muslims cannot. The state has the right. If a Hindu and Muslim want to rent or buy a property between one another, they have to file an affidavit revealing their religion, sending it to the district collector or to the magistrate. The government will determine whether that rent or sale will go forward. The two parties want to do the transaction, but that does not matter. Government will have a say. The last point I'll make here is that India has democratized violence. That in the state that I am in, Karnataka, girls and women, including professors and adult women in college, more than 18 years old, could not cover their head when they went to college. They were willing to wear the uniform. Whatever the uniform was, they said we will wear it. Plus we want the right to put something over our head. Government said no. We will not let you do that. The way it was enforced was through mobs. That mobs came and said that these women, these girls should not be allowed to go in. The government of the National Capital Region, so there are lakhs of Muslims who come from northern India, from UP, from Bihar, who work in the Delhi region, and they live together, one room, 10 people, 15 people. No access to a mosque, no access to prayer on Friday. They asked the government, can we get some space on government land on Friday so that we can come and offer namaz? Government said yes. These are the government areas. These are the plots. Please come and on Friday and pray. Mobs came week after week to block the prayer, putting pressure on the state. The state withdrew the permission it had given. There is a concept in law which is called monopoly over violence. That what is a legitimate state? What is a legitimate government? A lawful government is the government which is the only entity which can use force. If I have borrowed money from somebody, somebody has no right to come and beat me up and take that money from me, even if I cannot pay back. The use of force can only be used by the state. What India has done is devolved that use of force to the mob. If you go and show yourself in strength, in numbers, and you make a nuisance of yourself, the government will cede control over that force and tell you, okay, you can veto what it is that we are saying. You can veto what it is that we are doing. This is not how modern nations function. This is not how successful nations are built. I'll make one final point, which is linked to, I'll make 2 points. One is on the side of what we can do to push back. So, like I said, Article 19 gives us 3 rights which are fundamental. That these are rights that the government cannot encroach on what it is that we do, though it does. First is the right to free speech. That except for incitement to violence, there is no reason for the government to stop anybody from saying anything. First. Do we have that right? Yes, we do. Is that right absolute? No. That you can only say things as long as they do not offend the government or people who are close to the government. And there are laws which are used, either sedition, which is not there in the UK anymore, or criminal defamation, which is not there in Lanka anymore. It used to be there with us. Or a criminal contempt, which is not used anywhere in the common law world in the kind of way that it is in India. And of course, you've got a number of other laws, 153A, you've got the mob. You don't even need the law. You can just send the mob and people will not say anything. The second is peaceful assembly. So while we do have the fundamental right to gather, the right is actually with the state. To hold any kind of public meeting in a public space, if you go to the Western world, the US, the UK, European nations, you will find very small protests of people outside government offices, malls, corporate offices, holding a banner saying, we don't want this, we don't like this, take this back. You can't do that in India. In India, you have to fill out a form, send it to the police station. The police station determines whether you can have the gathering or not. It is not so much a fundamental right as a fundamental right to file an application, which really doesn't want. The third right is freedom of association, which a lot of comrades here will know is something that the state in India, this is not just about the BJP or the modern times, uses to ban organizations. That this is banned, that is banned, and you can't have the CBI and then you can't have this. So the undermining of these 3 fundamental laws is at the heart of the pushback from the citizen and how it is that we can pull our rights back from the state. We are not China yet. We are not North Korea. There is space in India. The constitution is there. The judiciary is notionally independent. Of course, it may not give us the kind of decision we want always, but it is notionally independent. Let's be used. We have to knock its doors. We have to try what it is that we can. Why? Because if we don't, we will go back to what my father felt we would be in 25 years' time, and his Amrit Kal from 61 would have ended by 1991 when I had my 1991 moment of liberalization, Amrit Kal, the same that today's 21-year-old has. The 21-year-old today might genuinely believe that they will be in a different world in 2047 than we are today. Just like I believe we would be in a different world in 1991. I would not have known that 31 years later, we would still be a poor country. We would still be in per capita GDP terms exactly where we were in comparison to the rest of the world in ratio terms, no different from 1960. My father, 30 years before me, would also have felt that there is some hope. Many of us, actually some of us, like me, we are fortunate enough to be born in families where you have access to some sort of education where you can make a living. For most people, 60 years ago, 30 years ago, today, 30 years from now, that will not be the case. When we leave this hall and we drive home, and there are people who are knocking on our windows asking for money. They will not have a future. They will die like this. The children that we see today begging on the streets, they will die like this. 30 years from now, 25 years from now. They will be they'll tell forever. If we do not change what it is that we are doing, there is no way that we can change the lives of those for whom it actually matters. This is why it's important. This is why we should continue to struggle. This is why it's important for us to talk about it. There are very few places in India, I should say, that one can speak about such things. It has become a closed space in many ways. For this reason, I am deeply grateful to all of you for having come, to the Raghavachari family for having joined me. Most of all, for all of you to have come to hear about a subject which many people in India currently don't want to hear about. Thank you very much.